what we got. Oh, this is cool. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. This is like a 3D kit design. So here's the business card PCB that was included. This is really cool. Yeah, I always appreciate some PCB art. I don't think this comes with any instructions. There might be some online that I can look for, but it also looks like we can probably just figure out how this goes together. We bought the oven. Yeah, so this was to fund a reflow oven for the shop. And I think it has some LEDs that make kind of a glowing 3D model of a reflow oven. It looks like the locations for the components are pretty well marked here. Okay, so that would be just 1 decimal place and then 0 is the exponent. So this is a 1 ohm resistor. Alright, so we got the basic makings of an LED blinky thing, or a glowy thing, because I don't know if these are blinking. Yeah, I don't know if this is going to be like a flashing or flickering or what, but I think this LED is going to have some special effects to it. Maybe that's why the resistor value is so low. So I think the chip on the left is the LED, and the like larger smidgen is the controller, but it could be the other way around. Well, cool. Let's just start taking this apart and see how it fits together. Not overthink it that much. I might need a long, flat tool to break this apart cleanly. Yeah, that's great. Okay. So then some of these are already separate now. We have some tiny pieces of prototyping board. There's the front of the oven, or the back, 2 sides. Let's definitely take these off. Three little struts. I think these little bits of prototyping board are probably just extra. There's a front and a back. I think this points up, but I could be wrong about that. Oh, it also looks like these edges come off. It probably makes sense to put the components on before I try assembling the 3D structure here. Alright, so there's a switch. I think it doesn't matter which direction this goes, it's symmetric. That's really cute. Let's also clean as we go here. Oh, you thought you missed the cleaning channel. No, the cleaning channel was in your heart all along. So I could do this with solder paste and a heat gun, but it's like, frankly, way easier to do this with the handheld soldering iron right now. I'll have to kind of tack it down on one side and tweak the alignment, probably. Tweezers. Tweezer town. What is the population of Tweezer Town right now? Several of you might have tweezers right now. That is as much of a perfectionist as I care to be about this battery holder. There we go. Okay, so flat side toward me. So, you know, actually, first of all, this right LED has some mold flash on the bottom that's causing it to sit at a weird angle. I want to trim that a little. See that? Okay, that's better. I like that. Yeah, that got it pretty much flat, and then just like tweaking it very slightly to get the other leg flat, and that actually works pretty well. Out of the way. Didn't quite work as well that time, but let's just do it upright now that there's enough solder on it. This is the one that's a little weird because the mold flash, I didn't completely fix it, but it's flat enough for my needs right now. So these notches, what do we do with the notches here? Because that builds a nice little entry port for stuff to go through the reflow oven, right? Okay, we have 3 different shapes. So maybe this one goes in the middle? Oh yeah, this one has like vent markings. So does that one go on the top? Oh yeah, I think that one goes there. Okay, so up there, there's a solder joint in this corner. I don't know how that attaches on the left side. So there's copper on this board, but the solder mask is covering it. So I might need to like scrape the solder mask right there. I don't know if I can just reverse this piece. And these are the same, right? Sorry, why does that feel like that? That's why you fly side controls. So I tend to like making these kind of cross-hatching cuts or scrapes with the knife here. Just going in one direction, then 90 degrees off, and that tends to break up the chunks of solder mask. Okay, you don't have to get like absolutely every tiny speck of solder mask off because The really little specks will lift off as soon as you get some flux on the joint, but it helps to get most of the way there. It makes soldering much easier. Okay, I think this knife is actually getting a little too dull for my tastes. Now it's a little too sharp. And the problem is it's going to break off, and the end of the knife is going to end up in my hand at some point, probably. Back to actual size. Okay, so I think what we were just doing was freeing up the copper on this side of that piece, so that now the interior of both sides have pads. I think that's what we want. It might be good to put the side piece on next, because that's gonna, like, these have an angle constraint with this peg here, and they need to fit into this whole side piece, so I think we want to try to fit as much as possible without soldering. So in fact, it looks like the first step is actually this going into these holes. The tabs fit really nicely on this kit. At least that's been my experience so far, knock on wood. Oh gosh, none of that was wood. What have I done? Oh, there's an assembly guide thread. Nice. I should check that out maybe before I make any terrible mistakes. Assembly guide thread. Okay, cool. So there's this, which we've already done. There's the braking, which I think we've already done. I think we did all the soldering. Yeah, that looks good. I think we were on the right track there. This file is filthy. That's helping though. I think the hole was not extremely rectangular. Yeah. There's another tiny bit of interference here where I think maybe if I filed either side of this interlocking fit here, I think it might all go together a little bit better. Yeah, imagine building something like this really consistently with just board house tolerances would be really hard to do. I'm really happy with how easily this has fit together so far. I'm just also taking whatever opportunities I can to improve the fit along the way. Yeah, I think that's better. It's looking pretty square. Cool. So I want to make sure to kind of press it into a good square alignment and then do these solder fillets. Making big old fillets. Hit that LED with maybe more flux smoke than I wanted to, and it's a little cloudy. Let me see if I can clean that. See a bit of a little pool of flux kind of soaking into the fiberglass on the edge there. That was terrible. Let's try going under here. Oh yeah, this is one of the ones that I scraped the mask off of so it doesn't have plating on it already. So it takes a little more effort to actually solder to. Sometimes it's really useful to be able to solder with either hand. Full of solder smoke, just like a real reflow oven. Oh, did I mess up the pad? There's a mess there. What did I just do? Oh, I just lifted the other pad too. Great. Well, now at least they're symmetric. Dang, I guess I need to clean that and replace it with a blob of epoxy. That wasn't an electrical connection, but... That's frustrating. Those, I mean, I think part of the problem was that they weren't electrical, so there was no heat sink, and so they really easily overheated. Oops. I'm going to scrape at it with a knife, though, both to remove the crud and to roughen the surface a little bit so I can attach epoxy. I can barely see what I'm doing in there. It's not going to end well. Okay. I'm not gonna fuss with that. Looks fine. Not great, but fine. A little discoloration on the solder mask there from probably putting soldering iron right on it. Certainly smells like epoxy. So there's a top piece that goes on top of that. Kind of clicks into place, I think. I think we want to solder that next. How do you even solder these? Is there even room? I guess there is room right on the bottom. Maybe you just turn on the oven and then it solders itself. How you do, girl? I think that's working. If I don't heat it up quite enough, then the pad that I scraped the solder mask on doesn't get great coverage. If I heat it up too much, the pad comes off. So I'm trying to hit that sweet spot. This one is easier because it's been hot air solder leveled by the board manufacturer. Alright, so the top's on. Two more pieces. So these are trickier. This is like hot air solder leveling, but without the hot air or the level. Let's just additionally plate these two just to make everything really nice and covered in solder. Yeah, I think Nick's hint about kind of sticking two already kind of fluxy solder balls together, I think that's probably how we're gonna have to do this. Let's try the easy one first. Yeah, that's much better, just like sticking those two solder balls together. And then same thing on this side. I'm kind of holding it, pressing it up against the edge that it's supposed to sit next to. That works. Great. One more. Let's put more solder on and then merge the fluxy balls. Try not to overheat these little dudes too much. I agree, it's like something the dad from A Christmas Story would yell at the boiler. Fluxy solder balls. Alright, clean iron, but fluxy, bulbous kind of board here. Let's see how far that gets us. I'm pressing that up into the right spot again. There's actually a little bit of an obstruction now because the solder balls are so thick. So I suspect as soon as I melt this, like I think the right side Oh no, both sides actually, there's some room. So I might need to melt this with some pressure to kind of snap it the rest of the way in, and then do the same thing on the other side. Ooh yeah, just as predicted. Give that a sec to cool. I think that was it. All right, let's see if it works. I don't remember which side is off and which is on. I think that's on, but let's put a battery in. Oh, that's satisfying. Oh, that's extremely satisfying. Oh, Nick, what a great little kit. I like it a lot. It's just, I like the kind of surreal sense of scale. Like looking at this on the monitor, it's like huge, and then I like reach my giant hand into the frame. It's great. I just want to send components through here now. Oh yeah, a fan might be interesting too. Do I have a little fan close by? Whoa. Oh my gosh! It's like this thing is a step sequencer. This is great! Let's get a little closer. Whoa! Sorry.